everybody. Okay, so I know a lot of my Facebook friends and mommies are waiting for me. What did I do? Are waiting for me to do this video. So without further ado, hope that camera is good. I'm in my bedroom. I escaped from babies for a little bit, so I'm in my bedroom. We're gonna try to rock this one out. Okay, so the name of this video, and I tried to compile them neatly, so I have them all typed up, is things they don't tell you about having a baby. But these are a lot of things. This list is just kind of things that when you go and you get your, positive pregnancy test, the doctor doesn't say, here's a list of everything that's going to happen. So, now I'm including having a baby as in pregnancy, labor and delivery, and after. And yeah, so as you know, I've had 4 kids, 4 completely different deliveries. I have never had a C-section. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. This is just my experience. And with help from others, I've compiled a nice little list. So let's jump right in. All right, so let's start off with pregnancy. Most of the time, people think it's very much like the movies, I think. At least I did. I didn't know half the stuff that I know now when, before I had my first one, even my second one. I learned a whole boat of new things with my third one. So, number 1 that I have is, let's start with the obvious, sex. That's what got us here in the first place, right? Some things about your sex life that are going to change. Your sex drive is going to change thanks to those nice little hormones that we're going to be talking lots and lots about. Your sex drive is totally going to change. It could be sky high, or you could have no interest whatsoever, and especially in the first 3 months. A lot of times the first 3 months women have a drop of hormones. Now, I've had that happen, but I've also had it the other way, which is really nice, then not complaining, right? A lot of times in the 3rd trimester, it is going to be hard to have sex, to have those relations. At least for me, it was always like, doctor says, okay, go home, have sex, get things going. I'm looking at him like, yeah, right, you want me to put, I don't think so, like, the whole mix of things going on, not gonna happen. Positions, some of your favorite ones may not be so favorite anymore. You may have to find new positions that aren't as abrasive. Your partner, his view on your sex life, that may change as well. With my girls, he didn't feel really any different about, growing belly, about baby being inside, whatever. The things that play into your sex life are going to be discharge. Your discharge will change as your pregnancy goes on. A lot of times it increases. Really, your sex life is just going to change, most likely. Maybe it won't, and you'll be lucky. Okay, number 2 about pregnancy. You may hate it, at least sometimes. I'm one of those. I had 2 awesome pregnancies with my boys. I was not sick. I didn't have aches and pains. I was like going until I delivered. My girls, I hated every moment of it. And now I'm like, I'm done. I do not want any more pregnancies. No, thank you. Some women are just radiant and calm from the moment that they conceive. Well, some women are, some women are cranky, bloated, and they can't hold down their lunch. It's okay. You have to get through it, but you don't have to like it. Let's see. As one of those mommies, this is coming from somebody else. One of those mommies who is blessed with a relatively easy pregnancy, I can assure you that we all have moments of, what have I gotten myself into? The love-hate relationship is good preparation for the love-hate relationship you're going to have with motherhood. I can attest to that. You might hate puking, shopping for elastic pants, and acting as official spokesperson for all pregnant mankind. But just like you might hate night feedings, explosive poops, and other sore nipples in a few months from now. But I guarantee that it's all worth it in the end. I agree with what she says. Okay, so you might hate it. Number 3, pain. I didn't know any of this. I didn't know about pelvic symphysis. I didn't know about sciatica. I believe I'm saying that right. Leg cramps. Headaches. I had terrible migraines when I was pregnant with Scarlett, and no amount of water or Tylenol could fix that. Your ribs. Babies have been known to break ribs if you're, like, if they're in the right position. Like, ouch. Your bladder is going to take some hits. Your back is going to take some hits. So there's pain involved with pregnancy that, you know what, they don't talk too much about the aches and pains of pregnancy. It happens. Number 4, it's all day sickness, really. Some of us might get that made for TV 2 hours of queasiness or vomiting in the mornings. Many of us find that it strikes all day. Yes, morning sickness. No, all day sickness. Typically, it's in early pregnancy, but in some rare cases, it can last your whole 9 months. And your morning sickness is so intense, you have to get IV fluids. You're on medications. It can be really bad. Ways to control morning sickness, as always. Don't go too many hours without eating. Eat a lot of protein. Snacks throughout the day so you don't have the big blood sugar crashes. Yeah, and if you need to take off work because of your morning sickness, you're a roaring human. Don't feel bad. Okay, exhaustion. Oh my gosh. I knew I was pregnant so many times. Like, thinking back on it now, I'm like, yeah, that makes total sense, you know? I was so exhausted. Like, your first trimester, I don't know if it happened to anybody else, but you're just like, I can't get enough sleep. I just need to go back to bed. You're just like, holy crap, I just need to sleep. Your second trimester, you won't be able to sleep. You'll be full of energy, which that sometimes does happen, that you get past the first trimester and you're like, yeah, spurt of new energy. And then you're going to hit your third trimester. You're going to be motivated but exhausted. Being that big is really... and it toys on your sleep. You can't get comfortable. You can't eat like you want to. Oh, third trimester's hard. Okay. Number 6, swelling. Everybody knows things swell when you're pregnant, but nobody tells you that your lady parts are going to swell. There's nothing that you can do to stop it. It sometimes feels like somebody punched you in the crotch. Standing makes all your blood rush down. Lying down keeps the pressure off, which feels better, but also helps everything engorge when you do sit or stand. Oh yes, and as the baby gets heavier, it acts like a tourniquet, trapping your entire blood supply inside your labia. Yes, that can be a blessing or a curse. Okay, so you have a lot more engorgement, so if you are actually interested in sex, it'll make it a lot better. But you'll find also that, at least I found, that I needed more lubrication, that I would just dry out easier, and things were just more intense. Pregnancy sex, I don't know, anybody else? Feeling awkward here. Okay, number 6. This one's like for partners during pregnancy. Be curious of the fact that her schedule is going to change. Like, her whole life. If you're not the one that's pregnant, then you need to be respectful of that woman who's carrying that baby, because her whole life is topsy-turvy. It says if you know, and if she asks you to do something, try not to complain, just get up and do it. It is tiring to be pregnant. So, men's, girlfriends, whoever, baby daddy, I don't care, be nice to your women folk. Number 7, early lactation. A lot of women don't realize that your body starts producing milk before baby is born. It's very common. It's perfectly normal. It's your body saying, hey, I've got milk to feed this baby, and that's awesome. But it can be a little bit, you're like, oh, am I, losing too much milk or something like that before baby comes? And the fact is, your body's going to regenerate. You're going to have plenty of milk. It can start early in the second trimester. Your hormones, thanks to your hormones again. Stimulation is usually the cause. So in the shower, blow dryer, if you're blow drying topless, removing the stimulation will usually help stop the flow. It can happen at other times too, when we're in the bedroom, if you know what I mean. It's just perfectly normal. Okay, so I'm done with those two. We're whipping right through this. Okay, so that was 7. 8 that I wanted to talk about. Before you get pregnant, I did not know it. I did not know about prenatals. I had never taken prenatals. I had no idea that those things make you sick. Oh my goodness. At least they did with me. I was like burping iron, I swear. It was gross. So, you don't have to take the prescribed prenatals that your doctor gives you. There are other options, moms. There are other options. First of all, local grocery store usually has a gummy prenatal. Those are wonderful. The other thing is taking them at night. There's also, I found a really good prenatal. It was just a regular Fred Meyer, just any store, and it says easy on your stomach, and they were hard to choke down. But you know what, another thing is, you can grind them up and you can put them in a shake. They don't taste too bad. Take them with food, but really leave them on the nightstand. Fine. Glucose test. Now these ones are always get scared when the doctor came in and said, oh, it's time for your glucose test. So a lot of moms don't understand that it's not required. You can opt out of anything during your pregnancy. This is your pregnancy. Yes, your doctor is going to recommend things, but a glucose test is not necessarily required. And if you look into it, I'm not going to talk too much into it, but I've had A1Cs done. The reason that I don't get the glucose test done, I do not process sugar well, and I have no history of diabetes or gestational or anything. And if any other symptom came up, then me and my doctor were willing to describe it. But an A1C is just a blood draw, so much easier. I could do blood draws all day, just I don't want to be drinking sugar. No thank you. Let's jump right into labor, delivery, and after. These are the parts that nobody told me about. Okay, I realized that I was going to bleed, duh. I realized that I was probably going to be sore and tired, but there's a lot of other things that I did not realize. So number 1, vomiting and diarrhea and labor often go hand in hand. So if you are at term, 37 weeks above, 36 for some, whatever, and you start throwing up and having diarrhea, you might want to watch for other signs of labor. It has been said that maybe it's the body's way of clearing out everything before you go into labor, and you will poop on the table. It's just gonna happen sometimes, not all of it, not all the time. But epidurals. Okay, so I got a lot of my mommies wanted me to talk about epidurals. I've always had an epidural with my births, but epidurals are not painless, nor do they have no long-term side effects. Epidurals, first of all, they do hurt. I looked up on YouTube and I was like, I can't even watch an epidural being done. Go look it up. You'll see what I'm talking about. And they hurt after. They make my back hurt, and I always just okay, after baby was born, they leave it in for a little bit after baby's born. I was just always like, oh, can we take this stupid thing out of my back? They work great, they're wonderful, and I'm glad that I went that route and had that option, but they do hurt afterward. They can leave your back pretty sore for quite a long time. In fact, my back still hurts, I think, from my epidural with Scarlett, off and on. The other side effect, the other side effect of epidurals is headaches and or spinal headaches. If you've never had a spinal headache, oh, let me tell you. But headaches are very common, when you're in postpartum and the days following that you'll have a headache. And you can call your doctor and ask for pain medications that are safe. If it gets bad enough that you can't sit up or throwing up or just cannot get this headache to go away and can't function, you need to go back in. And because what can happen is where they put it can, I believe, don't quote me on this, but that your spinal fluid can actually leak out of where they put the tiny little catheter, and it can really mess you up, and they'll go in and they'll seal that off with blood. And usually that fixes the problem. I've known a couple ladies who have had that. Also, you are in control of how much epidural that you have. I've heard some ladies go, oh, I was completely numb. I couldn't feel a thing. When people touch me. Have your epidural turned down. You don't have to have it so high that you are completely numb. You want it there to relieve the pain. So you are definitely, or if you need more epidural medicine, don't be scared to say something. You are in control of your birth. 3, early labor can go on for days. That's fun. First phase of labor is, the phases of labor are made up of 3 stages: early labor, active labor, and transition. Actually 4 if you consider actual birth. You aren't considered to be in active labor unless you're 3 to 4 centimeters with regular contractions resulting in cervical change. That being said, sometimes if you go to the hospital and you are 3 centimeters, sometimes they'll send you home if you're not making progress in the next hour. And you know what? Honestly, stay at home as long as possible. But yeah, early labor can go on for days. With no, your body can just be getting ready and then you'll go in. Your emotions during labor and delivery can be all over the place. Oh my goodness, you can have such a wide range of emotions. And even after delivery, fear, I don't care how many babies you've had, because I felt this way with Willow, that I was like, they're gonna let me take this kid home? Like, what if I break her, And that really is all those feelings. And you need to let yourself cry. If you feel like you need to cry, then you need to cry. If you feel like you're getting too depressed, you need to talk to somebody. If you need to realize that your emotions, like what you just did for the last 9 months, your body won't go back to normal for 2 years. Like with your hormones. And even after that, it's never going to be the same. Your emotions towards visitors in the hospital. I really did not like having visitors in the hospital just because I had this new little baby. Plus, it's embarrassing. You're like trying to recover. And the next part, I'm going to go into all of that. Why I felt like weird having people. Your first night also may be really tiring. That baby may not sleep. And you may be like, I'm exhausted. Like, I've done everything I can for this kid and I can't do anymore. And that's okay. And you know what? Usually hospitals will have a nursery, and if you need some time to just sleep, send that baby. The nurses will take great care of him, her, but also ask, the other thing to remember is when you're in the hospital, if you're not, sometimes in hospitals they will offer formula. If you're exclusively wanting to breastfeed, then make sure that they know not to give them anything else, also including, I didn't like the sugar water, just personal preference. I didn't want anything. I didn't want binkies, nothing. Anyways, okay, number 5. Now, this was the other one that everybody wanted me to talk about. Bleeding! Oh my gosh. Okay, so after delivery, holy crap, you have the heaviest bleed of your life. It can last up to, I think, 8 weeks, and bright red up to 8 weeks. You are going to bleed like a mofo. And it's not actually a period. It is just your body is sloughing away everything that was in there for the last 9 months. But you're going to be bleeding heavy. You're going to be like, oh, I didn't have this period for like 9 months. This is terrible. I remember my first delivery, I got up and there's like a blood trail from my bed to the bathroom. And of course I had visitors because I didn't really know what I wanted. That was embarrassing. That's another reason that I don't like visitors, because I like to be like topless and like, if blood gets on the floor, then I don't want to be embarrassed, just things to keep in mind. Another thing that I didn't know was fundus checks. Oh, those are fun for anybody who knows what I'm talking about. Seriously, ouch. They come in and basically they want to make sure that your uterus is clamped down so that you are not hemorrhaging. So they come in and they like press on your uterus, and that causes you to have a contraction. Oh, you don't have your epi anymore. Oh, it's fun. I was always like, are you kidding me? And the other thing is they're going to check for your bleeding. Yes, they're going to look in your underwear. And the first time that happened, I was like, I am offended. But that's just part of the process. So don't be too freaked out when they want to touch you all over. C-section pain. I have not had a C-section. I'm really sorry, and I didn't do too much research into it. From what I've heard, though, other moms, is that pillows help with the C-section pain. You will bleed if you've had a C-section or a vaginal. Yeah, I don't know too much about C-sections. I'm really sorry, guys. I can do one on that, but I just don't know myself. The other thing is your period postpartum. You could go for a year if you're exclusively breastfeeding, or you could have one at 6 weeks, and they can be really, really painful. That first postpartum actual period. And now I think I put this on there. I'm gonna talk about it. Oh yeah, I'll talk about that at the end. Okay, so we talked about blood. Number 6, your lady parts. They are going to hurt. Oh my, I have a sad baby. I may go take care of her and then I'll be back. Okay, I went and grabbed my sad one. She was so sad. Can you say hello, everybody? Say hi. Say hi. Yeah. Okay, so now where were we? Okay, your lady parts. Your lady parts are going, stand up there, paper. Your lady parts are going to hurt. They are going to be sore, and you may have stitches, so they may be really sore. The other thing, it's gonna hurt. The other thing is you can't use toilet paper after delivery. They give you a spray bottle, and you spray off everything. I suggest getting like flushable wipes for the number 2 business. Those feel a lot better. Also, Tux pads helps, and Dermaplast helps. Yes. Oh yes, Dermaplast was nice. Okay, breastfeeding. Now, I'm a big breastfeeding advocate, but I don't want anybody to think that I'm going to shove it down your throat, because I was also a formula mom, so I understand. Now, if you choose to breastfeed, then the first thing that I would really suggest doing is going to some classes if you're a first-time mom, and really asking a lot of questions and seeing what you need to be prepared for. The other thing about delivery is that babies come out hungry. I mean, immediately after delivery, your baby will probably want to eat. So the best thing that you can do, and since I have my little baby model with me, yeah. The other thing about it is that you don't have to have, a lot of hospitals are going to try to take baby and swaddle them up and put hats on them and bathe them. You do not need to do that for the first 2-3 hours of their life. It's going to go by so fast. Keep them on you. Just keep them naked on you and have the first hour, oh my goodness, to smell you and just to get to know you and breastfeed, and then they can go and you can have one of your family members help clean them up. And this is all if there's nothing that they need to actually intervene for. But the best thing to do, once baby's born, they're going to put them up on your chest, and you just lay there for them. And when you put babies like this, they automatically will start looking around trying to eat when you lay back. She's I think full, but usually they will start looking around wanting to eat. And so feeding them immediately after delivery, it's great. It helps them to learn to latch. A lot of hospitals will tell you that, oh, they don't need to be fed for the first hours. They're actually hungry when they come out. They're just as tired and exhausted as you, and they want to eat. Plus, breastfeeding will help your uterus to contract down so that you aren't bleeding as heavy, and it'll help expel everything. The other thing is, be prepared that some lactation consultants can be really pushy, and I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure if they feel that being pushy and if that's really going to help, but that's not what helps women successfully breastfeed, because when you make people feel like they're doing it wrong, then they're going to try to do it an easier way. So the best thing to do is, if you have questions and concerns, go to somebody who has, who has experience. It doesn't necessarily have to be a lactation consultant, because sometimes they can be really pushy. I don't like a lot of lactation consultants because they say you should not pump. I'm sorry, but a pump saved my life. And the next step in breastfeeding, engorgement. Your milk, you're going to have colostrum for the first 2-3 days. And babies' tummies are really, really tiny. They don't need much. I think it's a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons is all that their tummies can handle of colostrum. Your milk is going to come in very quickly usually, and if you're like me, I always get engorged. And engorgement is where your milk just comes in so quick and your hormones are like, woo, and you get too much milk in there. And so a lot of times, and now, don't quote me, I've been breastfeeding now 25 months. I've been breastfeeding Scarlett, and then Willow's 3 months. So, and then I breastfed my boys a little bit, but what always saved me was a breast pump. And from my research, a breast pump, the reason why they're going to tell you not to pump is because you're getting milk out, so your body's going to make more. So what I did was ibuprofen will really help the swelling and pain. Massage. If you have somebody that you are okay with them touching you, massage. I mean, really like getting in there and massaging everything. Get that milk flowing. Just sit with a towel just to get it out. But pumping an ounce or two really, really helped me. Now make sure you're not pumping out all your milk, and you know what, you can save that milk or you can dump it, you can do whatever. But that's how I always handled my engorgement, was I would pump and do massages and things like that. Formula introduction. Some hospital, I don't know much about this formula from birth because I never did formula from birth. I know some hospitals you really need to be careful that if you are wanting to exclusively breastfeed, that you tell them do not offer baby any formula. What's wrong with you? Why are you so cranky, huh? Why are you so cranky? You want to try to eat now? Yeah. Okay. Also, offering binkies can sometimes be hard on breastfeeding. So, but you know what? Do whatever works for you and your baby. The other thing about breastfeeding is just, if it doesn't work for you, don't feel bad. Give it your all. Don't get stressed out when you're trying to feed baby. Go be by yourself. Love your baby. Cry over your baby. And this is all right after delivery. Oh, I can't tell you how many times I've just cried while nursing, and then you'll feel your milk let down and you're like, I'm actually doing it. Okay, the other thing, you might be hot. Yeah, not the good hot. The gross, sweaty, fat man kind of hot. Those are your hormones. Yeah, it's, nothing says sexy like a woman with 20 extra pounds of baby weight who's losing her hair and walking around like she just ran for a bus. Oh yeah. That's all I'm going to say about that. I have one more page and then we'll be done. See, it wasn't too painful now, was it? Okay, your hair might fall out. Just talking about hair. Your hair may fall out. Part of those good old hormones. Just your hair might fall out after delivery. Be prepared. The next one I have, going poop is terribly scary after a vaginal delivery. Okay, no. I'm sure it is even with a C-section. Going poop is scary after delivery. And you don't have the muscles, you don't realize how you were using your muscles going when you were pregnant. I don't know. It's just weird. You're how am I going to do this? So be sure, I believe that you can take fiber. You can also take stool softeners. Yes, you can take stool samples. That would be good. No. But it's scary. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. Okay. You may spike a fever after delivery. I didn't know that, but I believe it's due to the epidural. It can cause a slight fever or just something. I had one, I didn't have one with Willow. I had a slight one with Scarlett and Elliot, remember? Okay, after pains. Oh, those are fun too. Anybody who knows what I'm talking about. After pains, it's when you are breastfeeding, your uterus is going to be like down, and it kills. You're like, oh my god, am I not? And it gets worse with every child that you have. Oh yeah, this last one, I thought I was going to die. Those stupid after pains. Oh my gosh, it's just a really strong contraction, and they hurt. Oh boy. Okay. The next one was birth control. Birth control. Now we've had baby, and we're going home, and of course your doctor is going to tell you, no sex for 6 weeks. But, let's do this realistically, okay? I have never waited 6 weeks to have sex. I have looked, I've done my research about it. I've talked to people. 6 weeks is the general marker that doctors are going to tell you. Generally, by 6 weeks, everybody is safe to have sex. Okay, but for me, my bleeding would only last 2-3 weeks, and especially if I didn't have any tears. I only tore with 2 of my kids. Hi. By 2 or 3 weeks, I was feeling good. And I'm sorry, but after delivery, you're like, I want to have some normal sex. So, that being said, I don't know many people who have waited the 6 weeks, but if you have, good job. Because it wasn't happening for me. Remember, condoms. You can get pregnant right away. You do not need a period to get pregnant. I can attest, I haven't had one in 6 years. You do not need a period to get pregnant. You can get pregnant like weeks after delivery. So, if you are going to fool around, you wrap it. wrap it, always. My views on, okay, so at 6 weeks then, they're probably going to offer you long-time birth control. Hi. From my last video about the IUDs, you can see my stance on IUDs. Also, be sure to ask your doctor. If you are exclusively breastfeeding, you need to talk to your doctor about what is safe for breastfeeding. Let's see. First time after sex, it could be a lot different. Things are, especially if you're breastfeeding, it's going to mess with your hormones. So pick up some lube. Pick up lots of lube, okay? Especially if you're, with the condoms. So you need to pick up lube, lots of lube. Yes, this video is very long, but those are my, what they don't tell you when you have a baby. And it can be bloody and gory and scary and wild and emotional and happy and sad and everything, and I am so glad that I did it 4 times. I really am. There's no, if I had easy pregnancies, I would probably have another pregnancy, but I don't, and I'm happy with how many I have to raise. Yes, and I'm very happy with you. She's down here giving me milky nursing grins. So anyways, I hope that this helped you, and for all my MySpace mommies, you gotta give me ideas of more videos to do, or things to go in depth on. As always, our Facebook, I'm gonna put that in the description. I'm gonna put that in the description below. I'm gonna put the description on below, yeah. You should add us to Facebook. Keep watching videos. I'm trying to upload more often. Now that life's not crazy. Wait, life's not crazy. My life is always crazy. So, I hope that you guys enjoy these mommy videos that I'm making. I'll try to get one up of the girls. And, as always, Merry Christmas. The world didn't end today. Yes. We're doing good. So, all right, everybody. Have a safe night. Bye.